So I have several questions about the movie 17 Again. First and foremost, we know that Scarlett, finds out that Mark is actually Mike. That, of course, Scar's husband Mike turned into a younger version of himself so that he could realize how many mistakes he had made over the years and get to appreciate his children and his wife and go back to them and, apologize to his wife and make up and all of that. So Scar finds out that Mark was Mike the whole time, and she realizes it was indeed her husband who turned young for a few weeks or months or however long it was, and then came back and apologized to her and promised to be better to her. So sure, there's that. But do the kids find out? Do Alex and Meg, do they find out that the guy Mark was actually their dad, Mike? Does Alex find out that the guy who was helping him out with basketball and got him with his girlfriend and also just got him through a very difficult year and stood up to bullies and just helped him survive high school? Like, does he realize that guy was actually his dad? And of course, Mike O'Donnell is now coaching the basketball team, so he's going to be spending more time with his son. So, like, he does Alex know that now? And if he did, would he find that a little weird and creepy or something? Or would that actually repair and fix his relationship with his dad? I mean, I think there should have been a scene with the dad and the kids later to show that they see him differently now and that they appreciate him or something like that. Um, and same thing with Meg, of course. Like, does Meg realize that? I don't even remember if that girl's name was Meg, but whatever. If does she realize that her dad was the one who basically set her life on the right path and got her to not drop out of, not got her to not reject Georgetown thing, and got her to dump her boyfriend Stan, and or I guess she didn't really dump him. I guess he dumped her, and then like she refused to go back to him. But like that he saved her from a horrible life and that he was really looking out for her. Like, does she know that? And if she did, like, would she be a little creeped out by it, or would her relationship with her dad get better? Like, do the kids know that it was Mike O'Donnell, their dad, the whole time? Like, do the kids know that the teenager guy was just Mike the whole time? I mean, it'd be interesting. Like, how much do they know? And if they don't know, then do they just think that Mark disappeared? Like the teenager Mark, did he just disappear? And the second thing is, does the principal know? Does Principal Masterson, who is now, of course, dating or I guess maybe married to Ned, like, does she know that Mark, the teenager, was actually Mike the whole time? Like, if so, then I guess that would have been very interesting during the hiring interview when she hired him to be the new basketball coach. And also, Coach Murphy, that a basketball coach, does he like? Does he not? How does he not recognize Mark? Because Mark and Mike, they look the same, and they're teenagers. And the coach spent a lot of time with Mike O'Donnell, and of course, Scar recognized Mark right away, and she's like, "Oh, he just looks like Mike O'Donnell, my husband," and like that's him. Like she realizes it, and then she knows it because she can recognize him, and he looks the same. Whereas the coach does not recognize Mark at all. Like when the coach sees him, like he just doesn't realize it. And when Mark says, "You're still here," as in coach, you're still teaching here, like that's when the coach should have just realized, "Oh snap, this guy is him," and like that's when he should have realized quickly. But anyway, like the coach just seems oblivious to it because Mike was one of his best students, so he should remember. And yes, Mike left behind terrible memories because obviously Mike just dropped out of the game immediately and just quit everything and threw everything away, even when there were recruiters there. So the coach must have looked really terrible, and the coach was just sad and very not feeling well about that. But the thing is, if I understand maybe the coach Murphy wanting to suppress the memory because it made him feel really bad. But if it makes him feel really bad, then he would just remember it anyway, because no matter how much you try to forget something bad, you tend to remember it because it was such a bad memory. So he really shouldn't forget what Mike O'Donnell looked like. But I guess, I mean, he said he was there for 20 years, but 20 years is really a short amount of time. There's teachers who teach for 30 to 40 years, so, and they remember their students even better. So, I mean, I guess the coach is just not very good at remembering faces too well. Anyway, yes, and Stan, like, why isn't Stan in jail? Because we see him get in trouble, and then, like, he tries to beat up Mike, obviously, and there's a fight, and he gets taken away, but then Stan is just not in jail. He's just playing at the game the next day, so, okay. And in this school, the basketball people seem to be bigger jerks, and we don't really see the football people at all, so that's very interesting. Um, and also, obviously, it's disturbing how little the dad, Mike O'Donnell, is invested in his kid's life at first, but it's equally disturbing as to how little Scar seems to be involved in her kids' lives because she doesn't seem to be a very good parent either because she's clearly obviously just having a very hard life because Mike is being miserable to her, but the thing is, Scar should have been looking out for Alex as well, and Scar should have put a stop to it when Stan was bullying Alex and just doing all kinds of mean things to him and just even bullying him inside his own house. Like, so Scar should have stood up to Stan, but I guess she just didn't notice. And of course, there is a deleted scene where it claimed where Meg is Meg does say that her mom that Stan got in trouble with Scar because Alex had his head stuck in the washing machine. So apparently, in a deleted scene that, of course, we didn't see, that Scar did, of course, have problems with Stan and try to get rid of him and got him into trouble, and of course, did exercise some discipline on him for bullying Alex. But still, like, she should have done a little more than that. I mean, and maybe that deleted scene should have been in there in some capacity. And of course, with Meg, like, do the sister and brother just not care about each other at all? Because they seem to have just no good relationship either. And in the deleted scene, Meg even blames Alex for getting his head stuck in the washing machine, even though it was Stan. And just the relationship between the siblings just doesn't seem to be there. So there's that as well, which I guess, I mean, could be normal or not normal, but it's just different for everyone. But that's an observation. And as for the janitor, like, who was he? Like, was he just some sort of like weird spirit guide, like Ned said, or was he even real, or what's the deal with him? So yes, many questions raised about this movie. Now, I'm sure I have more questions about this movie, but those are all the top questions I can think about at the moment.